Hey, welcome back to the Coach's Corner right here on the Ingram ISD YouTube channel here. Once again, we're here with Coach Tate Damasco of the Ingram Warriors football. And Coach, big week of just rest, gearing up for district play, opening up at home, San Antonio Cold Cougars. Talk about just your preparation of the week and getting ready for San Antonio Cold this week.
Yeah, we had a really good week last week. We got done what we needed to get done, and we were able to get the kids out a little earlier. We had a lot of activities going on campus last week. Volleyball, wanted to make sure they could go support the volleyball team. We actually went up and watched team tennis play, and then we went to the band concert as a football team on Thursday night. So we balanced what we needed to get done fundamentally wise with, supporting the community because we've had such great support so far this year.
I heard there was a lot of kids that went to even like at Stonehenge over the weekend that kind of supporting the community with the arts and crafts fair, and then little local things that were happening around. That's got to be pretty huge, not only just for you as a program, but at the same time with that community and people recognizing these players and stuff now in your team.
Yeah, when they show up places, people know who they are, and that's that's what we want to represent. Ultimately, we were playing football, but ultimately at the end of the day, we hope that we make better men out of these kids that are here, and as they go out in the community, that people can recognize that we have some really great kids and a great community members, and we want to make sure that football kids understand. I understand it's Texas. I understand this is football, but there's so much more outside of these walls, and we get so much support from so many different people that we want to be able to go support those people that may not get the support that we do. So we think that's really important, and we focused on that last week. And so, starting today, we're going to start narrowing our focus to Cole. And, we had some good workouts this morning and then this afternoon. And so, our main goal this year is we haven't won a district game in 4 years. So we have a couple seniors that have played since they were freshmen that hadn't won a district game. Our goal is, as we start district, is we want to end that streak. And, Friday night would be a perfect opportunity for us to play really well, which we will have to play really well, and end that streak.
You're on a roll right now. You had up some bumps right there in the very first game. All of a sudden, 3 straight wins, and then the open. And now with district opening up, it's the momentum that you guys have built from those 3 straight wins. How important is that as through your workouts and getting here open district?
Oh, it's really important. In fact, I was talking to another coach on the phone this morning. I was like, man, I wish our bye week wasn't where it was. Don't get me wrong, we needed it. We needed some rest. We had some bumps and bruises that we needed to get over, but we were rolling so good. And that's the fear going into this week is, did we get done what we needed to last week to make sure we're primed and ready for Friday night? And so we're going to narrow our focus this week on that, and we're hoping to play good. We're hoping to play well on Friday night.
And it's here at home.
It's at home.
I'll talk about this, getting the community out, all the fans, the student body, the teachers, the alumni, opening up with the excitement. Just talk about just packing the house and getting them motivated behind you guys to motivate
And
you.
they've done a great job so far. We've had a lot of people at our game. We had a great crowd at Comfort. We had a great crowd at Harper when we went to Harper. And then 2 weeks ago, it was unbelievable the amount of people that were here. And so we're expecting another big crowd. And it's our job. I'm sure there's still people looking over the fence saying, what are they about? It's our job to show up Friday night and play well, and represent our community in the right way. And I think they had a grease fire down there in the concession stand for a while there. I couldn't even see across the field because there was so much smoke going on. But it's been great so far, and we need to hold up our end of the bargain, and that's being ready to go on Friday night and playing really well.
You have what you were saying earlier about getting behind the tennis, the cross country, volleyball, packing the house, things that haven't happened for even at a tennis match, where you guys are all there supporting them, big crowd. That's got to motivate not only just those guys in that program, but as a school, bringing y'all as one.
Right now, we're having a lot of success. We've won 3 football games in a row. We're winning the district in volleyball and got a huge volleyball matchup tomorrow night at 6:30 in Comfort tomorrow night. Team tennis is actually playing 4A with the likes of Wimberley, Bernie, and Canyon Lake, and some Piper Ranch and some schools like that. and we're actually sitting second or third right now. And so we've had some success, and I think, success breeds success within any program. And so as we're seeing this, I think the main key that I see is on Friday night, I see our volleyball girls down there on the sideline cheering for us.
Yeah.
Last Friday night at the volleyball game at home, we got boys that are painted up and they got bikini tops on at the game, and they're going nuts for them. And, I see some community buy-in. And, if we win a football game, it's not just us that wins. Everybody wins it. If we win a volleyball game, if we beat Comfort tomorrow night, we all win. And so I'm starting to see that kind of turn here. And so it's exciting. But we all, we got to hold up our end of the bargain and keep going.
I've talked to some folks around the Ingram area for the community and some school people, personnel, and they just talk about how the excitement when you first got here, how it's like turned all of a sudden, it's just like going crazy nuts all the way to the sky. What are you bringing differently to the program that, maybe in the past they had some success, but then it just kind of fizzled out?
Well, first off, this is not about me. I've had the opportunity to hire some great people around me. I've had an opportunity to keep some people that were here. And I'm not just talking football-wise, but I'm talking about every sport. And they all came with a belief that we could get this place turned around. And they believed in the kids, and they believed in the community, and they've all jumped on board, and they've all gone forward from the day we've hired them. And so, I can't tell you how thankful I am to have such a great group of coaches. Females, males, everybody's in it together. Everybody's got each other's back. If somebody needs something, somebody's going to do it. And so I think it's a coaching staff deal. It's not Tate Damasco. My name's just at the top of it.
Yeah.
But I think it's the buy-in by all the coaches and putting themselves in a great opportunity to be successful.
Oh, I got it. San Antonio Cole comes in, on Friday night, and it's one of those things where Ingram and Cole, it seems like Cole has the Ingram number. But there's a lot of differences. You're getting some big deep up there on the offensive line and the defensive line. You got some talent and speed and strength as well.
Yeah, I mean, and we have the ultimate respect for Coach Kissy and the Cole program. I know they've had a tough non-district schedule, that they've played some really good teams. And we're expecting to have a good, hard-fought game Friday night. And we're just hoping that we're around in the fourth quarter with a chance to win. But I don't really look at matchups as far as what's happened here in the past.
Yeah.
We kind of draw a line in the sand, and we're moving forward. And it's a big game because it's the next game. If we do what we're supposed to do, it shouldn't matter what's on the jersey of the other people. And that's one of the mindsets we're trying to get changed here. And we're going to find out how successful that's been on Friday night when the ball gets kicked off. But we're expecting a really good game from them. They've got some great athletes. They do some things schematically that are going to put us in a bind. And so, we have to do a great job throughout the course of the week getting our kids prepared and getting them in the right position to be successful. And so, we're expecting a great game Friday night, and hopefully we can come out on top.
All right, Coach. Well, I know you got some things you got to do, and I know there's some other guys we're going to talk about. So when we come back, we're going to have Coach Marbach talk about that defense and how to slow down that Cole offense. Hey, welcome back to Coach's Corner right here on the Ingram ISD YouTube channel. And right now joining me is Coach Marbach, and defensive coordinator for the Ingram Warriors. And Coach, man, good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Coach, a big, tough test coming up with the San Antonio Cole Cougars, and knowing that they've got some speed, they can run, they can throw, but at the same time, it's just the containment that you guys bring to them. So talk about slowing their defensive down.
Well, they're very athletic. The quarterback throws the deep ball really well, but he really runs the ball well. And they've got their back's a shifty, quick, type of guy. One receiver, it's actually the quarterback's twin brother, is very, very good receiver. He goes and gets it down the field. So like you said, it's kind of about containing all that speed. And, our keys all year have been, lining up right and reading the right keys, having eye discipline, and then flying to the ball and being physical and nasty when we get there. So we can keep doing those three things. we've got a good chance.
Chance, Coach. I mean, after that first bump of the year, and then all of a sudden your defense just took over, shutout. Allowing just a few points here and there, and just talk about. Did you say anything, and right after that first game to just motivate, or was it just something that just kind of came together?
It wasn't like a big speech or something. I think it's more about, okay, this is the things we didn't do right. We flew to the ball that game, and we were physical that game, but we had some eyes in the wrong place a little bit, and a couple some missed tackles, more than we should have. So we've, even from last spring, we've been trying to get better at those basics, the tackling, the how to fit it, how to be laterally athletic, and hem guys up and make those plays. So we've been working on those things for a long time. It was just, getting all the pieces to come together. That comfort game was an unbelievable job, and kind of the biggest thing was, I think our guys went, okay, we got a little confidence.
Yeah.
And one thing that I've been the most proud of, because I've seen this over some years now. I've been here 7. Is when Harper was fighting back and they were punching back. I've seen us before go, oh man, what's happening here, and I didn't see any of that in the Harper game. And when TLCA was very athletic, very fast, they kept slugging, and I never saw us back down in that one either. So that confidence, like you said, got a few in a row. Cole's not going to go away either. They're athletic, they're going to compete, but we're not going back down either. We're going to keep playing tough and get after them.
You've been a defensive coordinator for quite some time, and Coach Damasco spoke highly of you. What is like a philosophy of yours on defense? Is there just something that you just? What is your main philosophy for the defensive side?
Well, it's kind of those 3 things we already talked about.
Yeah.
From a schematic standpoint, there's a lot of different ways you can be really good defensively, and that's part of our job in the offseason, early in the year, is to figure out where all the pieces go, and try to get all the kids in the right spots and get in the right scheme to make them successful. But really, it always comes down to, are you lining up right, and are you reading your keys like you're supposed to? And then the most important things, are you flying to the ball, and are you tackling physical and being physical with blocks, physical with tackles? The team that is more physical and more aggressive can overcome a lot of, if they're better athletically than you, you can overcome a lot of that by being more physical and having 11 guys flying all the time, no plays off.
They talk about how defense and offense is always a chess match that's going on. For defensively, you got to scheme more for what pieces you're going to be playing each game. Is that something that's more difficult? Does it get easy for you? And how do the guys that read into that when you got to say, hey, all right, this week we're got to do this instead of where last week they were actually having to do that?
Right. No, that part never gets easy for you as a coach. I told Coach Damasco a few weeks ago, and we were just around talking that I've coached a lot of offense in my time too, and defense is way more stressful for me. Because defensively, at any time, if one guy doesn't do his job, it can be points on the board.
Yeah.
Where offensively, if you have one bad play, other than a turnover, it's 2nd and 10 now. You know what I mean?
Right.
You get another shot at it, and you kind of get to reset the board how you want it to be. So that's why our first key defensively is line up right and get your eyes in the right place. There's a set of rules, and you're almost always like coming into a district game. Cole's going to do something that we haven't seen before, whether it's an alignment, a play, something with their personnel, and we have got to teach the kids well enough to be able to adjust to that on the fly. And then if we have to, it's tough because we can't take the defense over when the offense has the ball and draw some stuff on the board, because all of those guys are playing offense too.
Yeah.
So getting adjustments made through the game is a communication challenge, because we've got 1 or 2 guys over there that we've got, okay, tell this guy this. We go back on defense, we got to get out there and get those communications happen.
Yeah.
And that's a big challenge of playing small school ball. But Cole's on the other sideline with the same thing. Their guys are playing both ways. It's not unique to one side.
Would you rather have an Ironman football player playing on your defense, or would you rather have where you can have always fresh legs when it comes to like the bigger schools?
Well, once you get up to the bigger schools, they're pretty much all going one way, so that's not a big advantage. We're trying to build up our program with numbers and keep JV kids and junior high kids playing and interested, to where if we got to the point where we could have a lot of guys going one way, that'd be a huge advantage for us moving forward. But with the 22, 23 we've got right now, that's not a reality. The good thing for us is, some teams have 22 or 23, and only about 13 or 14 of those they want on the field. Our 22 or 23 guys can get in there and contribute, so that helps.
I like the Ironman guys,
Oh,
because they're
tough.
all physical. They don't care. They won't be on offense, defense. As long as they're hitting somebody, that's what they like.
You got to be tough to
So
play.
talk about it, because your guys love to hit. I mean, I hear them, and I've heard and just around just how they love to just get physical and hit somebody and do the job for you guys.
That's just that aggressive mentality, and Coach has done a great job of helping build that through the offseason. I mean, we did a lot of things to try to just increase physical toughness, mental toughness. Those things all carry over on the field. All of those things you do in the offseason, all of those strength building, speed building things, those all show up on the field, like the tackling technique things that we've done in the offseason. Like, we see those things showing up, and so that's really rewarding as a coach. You work those things all spring and through the summer, and then we're working rip turnover drills for 6 months now, and we got a safety come flying in and rip the ball out last week, in a huge play on defense in the game against TLCA. So it's great to see those things carry over, and they're listening and they're trying to do what you're trying to coach them to do. That's important.
And this year, I mean, like last year, but this year you have more speed in your backfield with your cornerbacks and your linebackers and your safeties. That's a great advantage for you, right?
Yeah, it definitely is. And like we said a minute ago, a lot of guys contributing too. It's not, oh man, we got to take this guy off the field. We're in big trouble. There's some guys who are some of our better football players overall. Like Kai doesn't start on defense right now, all the time. He's huge, one of our better players, but he's also running the ball a whole lot of times, getting a whole lot of touchdowns and a whole lot of yards. So him able to come over, get a drink for a minute. Okay, Kai, we need you here. Things like that are huge.
Yeah.
Those things are very important. Coach Brack does a great job rotating our defensive line, keeping those guys fresh. It's the same guys who are playing offensive line. So, like you said, that Ironman football and that toughness is really important.
Coach, you've been here for a few years now. But last year, what's the difference between last year's team and this year's team for you on defense?
Last year as a defensive coordinator, I don't know. There were a lot of times I felt like there were 11 guys on the field who knew what exactly they needed to do and were going to fly around and do it all the time. It was hard to get 11 out there. And now I feel like the vast majority of the guys who play out there on defense understand what we want them to do and are going to try their very hardest to do it. So that's maturity by the kids growing up, over the year, getting that good off season of getting stronger, more confident, faster, more confident, understanding what we want them to do. More confidence goes a long way.
What is the one thing that you want to do defensively against Cole this week?
Well, you can't really limit it to one
Yeah.
because they're kind of multi-dimensional. Their deep passing game is really good, and that kind of mirrors TLCA. We didn't give up any deep balls to TLCA until the very end of the game, and really we shouldn't have given up. One of them was a really good throw and catch. The other one, we blew a coverage, and we shouldn't have given that one up. So we have to keep them. If they're going to catch a ball, we got to keep it in front of us and go tackle them. That's one really important part. And the other really important part is keeping that quick back, and especially the quarterback in here. They can't let those guys get out in space because they're so athletic and so dynamic, and they can make people miss and look silly. It's about keeping them in the box, be real physical, be real aggressive, and don't let them get going.
You talked about that, like on the defensive line. They're actually, where they are, there's going to be a gap, but somebody's always coming in to fill that gap, especially on a run and play. Something that like, the years past, it was kind of like, whoa, there's a whole boom, and of course they're gone. But this year it just seems like they're all reading of what is coming on when it comes to open gaps and filling those holes.
Yeah, I mean, we make plenty of mistakes. don't get me wrong there. There's lots of times where it's like, oh man, should have done this, should have done that. But we're right a lot also, and we're going to the ball so hard. When we make mistakes flying with confidence that we're going to make a play still. And we end up overlapping and covering for each other quite a bit that way.
All right. Well, Coach, man, appreciate you showing up and being on here. And no more basketball.
No more basketball. I started golf last year.
There you go.
I'm golfing in the spring.
Awesome. There you go. Be out there 4. There you go, Coach Marbach. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.
Sounds good.
Coach Marbach, defensive coordinator for the Ingram Warriors. When we come back, we're going to have Coach Hinton right here on the Ingram ISD Sports Network on the YouTube channel. All right, here, welcome back to the Ingram ISD YouTube channel here on Coach's Corner. Here talking with the offensive coordinator, Coach Hinton. Appreciate you showing up here and everything, being on the show. I know it's kind of forced and everything, but that's okay.
It's all right.
You love being here, man. You love being in the spotlight. Coach, offense, I mean, hey, come on. I mean, we're putting points on the board right now. Guys are actually thinking. You've got some guys that are actually leaders now in your offense where they're pointing at different directions and getting guys in the right spot or seeing something out there that they just might want to change up. Talk about your offense and just what's going on this year.
Yeah, well, it's, I think our kids have finally found an identity. They've started to, grasp the scheme as a whole, as a bigger picture. And so, you're starting to see some of that process from a year ago kind of finally come to fruition, and guys understanding not just where they're supposed to be or what they're supposed to be doing, but the bigger picture of everything. And so some of those pieces are starting to fall into place. We're seeing it translate into some yards and some scores and some things like that.
Where Coach Cole, they like to line up on that defense. They'll bring the heat, but at the same time kind of sag a few in the back, just kind of daring to throw the ball. Just talk about your offense and how to read that defense and just to get by them to get that 6 points.
Yeah, well, so we've got to do a good job of handling the front guys and handling the downs and some of the pressures and the stunts that they'll try to do. So that'll be a big key. And if we can handle that stuff, we should be able to run the ball. But then we also have to take advantage of some of the man coverage stuff that we're going to get, and with the pressure stuff, if they dare us to throw, we've got to be able to be efficient when we do that and take some shots and hit them. And if we can hit the shots when we take them, then that's the reward there.
How big has Sage Canese been this year for you? He's kind of grown up from last year, gotten taller, gotten a little stronger, and actually reading the defense a little bit better. Talk about just the way that he has stepped up this year to help you be a leader on that team.
Yeah, you can see it from week to week. He's just gaining confidence in himself and in his play and his understanding of what the other people around him are supposed to be doing. That's a testament to him. He's put in some time, and Coach Damasco with him, and they've gotten on the same page where he's understanding things. And then the other thing is you're starting to see that the rest of the team, the rest of the offense has confidence in what he's going to be able to do also.
Your offensive line is pushing guys off like crazy, and just talk about how getting some meat up there, for this year and being able to open up those holes and allowing whether you're going to play a pass or a run or a delay, whatever, but those guys up front is what's getting it going for you.
Yes, for sure. Those offensive linemen have done a really good job. And they're, again, second year in the system, second year in the scheme. Their understanding of what they're supposed to be doing is a lot better. And then they're starting to, with that comes the confidence for them to play faster and play more physical. And there's some nasty showing up from those guys that we really didn't see a year ago. Yeah. They're starting to take some pride in that nasty and that physicality, and they have the confidence that we can run the ball when we need to run the ball now.
Awesome. Coach, you've been around some coaches that, just they're high ranked up there in the state, Talk about just how you coming up as a coach, being under the wing of some of those coaches to get you where you are today.
Well, I believe we're all just a product of our environment. The people that we've been around, have heavy influences on us. And yes, I have, been fortunate to be around some guys that have kind of helped me form my own identity and philosophies, coaching wise, and then also, scheme wise with what we like to do. And I think that's one of the things that is starting to translate to some success here, is that Coach Damasco and I have had the chance to work together and philosophies match up, and we kind of understand, what we're trying to do, and we're on the same page. And, we have some similar influences in other places that we've been before we worked together as well. We're products of the people that we work with, and when you get a chance to together with people for a long time, it makes things easier. You're communicating the same things to the team and to the kids, and the messages are the same.
How big is it that with your offensive line to open those holes up for someone like Kai Hightower and your other guys that will touch the ball, to run and have that power to get through or to break tackles like what Kai does?
Yeah, that's that's what's going to make us go or not go is those front guys, those 5 guys up front, and the 6th guy being the tight end.
Yeah.
If they play, we got a chance because, at the end of the day, we want to be able to run the ball. For us to be successful, to play good offense that supports our defense, we have to be able to run the football. And those guys are owning it now.
Yeah.
They're buying into it. They understand, what's on their shoulders, I think, and it's starting to show up that they're proud to take that on.
Yeah. What do you challenge your offense to get certain amount of points, and then we'll have big old dinner if you score 30 points in the game or something like that, or is it some kind of a motivation for them?
Yeah, we haven't got into that yet. I mean, our goal is to have one more than they got at the end of the night.
Yeah. Coach Damasco took them out to his house to eat sandwiches after one game, so I heard you want to maybe do a steak or something like that.
Well, there's been some talk of feeding these guys, and we try to take care of them.
Yeah.
I mean, we do. We try to feed these guys every chance we get, and there's been some really good community support and people in the community that have wanted to help out and provide, and take care of those guys. But to this point yet, it has not been a motivational deal of points or yards or anything like that.
Maybe like the day off, or something. You get 30, and we win.
Yeah.
Something like that. Or you'll run laps, and I don't know. Coach, when you got to Ingram, it's like the Hill Country has been your home for a long time. But what was it like, to come stepping onto the campus of the Warriors and then being around Tate again and some of the guys that you got actually kind of been around growing up?
Yes. I mean, always growing up in Kerrville, knew about Ingram, knew about this place, hadn't really experienced it, but to get the opportunity to come back to this area and try to, to be a part of making this, a special place, it's been a lot of fun so far. Even my friends, talking to them about coming home and being back here and everything. I'm proud to grow up from here. I'm proud to be from here, and to have the opportunity to try to make Tom Moore High School a relevant place and a special place. I take a lot of pride in that. I think our whole staff takes a lot of pride in that. There's no reason we can't.
Yeah.
And so it's fun to invest in something and put a lot into it and bring your family here and put your kids in the schools. And, my wife teaches here at the high school. And to just immerse yourself in a single place and try to make it the best that we can make it. That's been fun and starting to become rewarding.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Yeah. You got that hometown feel,
Yeah.
in a small town. But what is one thing that you've learned about your team from the first day of practice up until this point for your offense?
Well, I think the one thing is we found an identity in ourselves. We found that we can and believe that we can run the football. And then, we've been efficient when we've had to throw it. Last week 2 weeks ago, we didn't throw very many times. We threw 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So if that's what we're getting out of the passing game, then that's what we're getting. And then if I had to say a second thing, I would say, and Coach Marbach, I think, alluded to this just a second ago, but the don't flinch. 2 weeks ago, we turned the ball over the first 2 possessions. A year ago, that would have started the downward spiral. Defense stepped up, made a few plays. We come back, we answer, and we start rolling again.
Yeah.
So some of that don't flinch we're starting to see that, and it's okay. We'll move on to the next play. We're still good enough.
Awesome. Well, Coach, it's been a pleasure to talk to you, and always good to see you. It's like the last time I saw you, you were just getting ready to head on out to college, and stuff. But it's always good to see you, and welcome back to the Hill Country. And just one more thing. What do you got to say to the fans and the town? Paint the town red and white, baby.
Paint the town red. Yeah, just keep it rolling. We've got another home game this week coming up, and the things are starting to show up. And we want this to be an all of us together deal. It's not just about the football team, it's about the community, it's about the school. Starting to see the buy-in in the people, getting excited about this thing. There's no reason not to keep it rolling. So keep showing up.
There you go. Coach, appreciate you.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And yeah, we're going to have to see you next time, man. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
So until next week, we'll see you next time here on the Coach's Corner on the Ingram ISD YouTube channel. We out.